So today we wanted to go over like the highlights of the Thoth 1.0 release. So I'm going to be giving a demo of the new user interface, like the back end for publishers. I'm going to explain some of the advanced workflows that we've integrated into the interface, including the use of multilingual metadata, additional metadata categories that we've added, and the ability to automatically ingest your data into the database. Toby's going to do a demo of the new Metrics dashboard, which is one of our new services. And I will explain like the rebranding of our services and what's changed for publishers going forward and exciting new products that we've got as well. Oops. So I'm just going to start with an overview of the uh, user interface and what's changed. Um, And upon logging in, so every publisher should have received a new sign up email, and you should be able to just log into the system and update your password. And some changes, as you see when you log into the dashboard. At the bottom here in the left-hand corner, you have the ability to manage your own publisher user account. So previously, publishers would need to get in touch with us to update their passwords if they've forgotten their passwords. You can now manage your own user account within the system. You can also manage your publisher account as well. So if you want to add an imprint underneath your publisher name, you can easily do that yourself within the dashboard. And you can navigate here via books, series, sets, or publisher. So when you first log in, you'll be presented with an overview of your metadata that's in Thoth. We've got a catalogue summary, which highlights how many titles you've got active, how many are forthcoming, etc. We've got a published overview, so in the last 12 months, and then in the previous 12 months before that. And just to clarify, I have got Open Book Publishers data loaded, just as a general example. We have added a recently updated section which displays the last three metadata records that you've been working on, so you can easily jump back into something that you may have been part way through editing. And then we've got recently published as well, so the last three published titles. So these allow you to jump straight into the book record. Or you can navigate via your book catalogue within Thoth, and this will display all of the books that you've got within the Thoth catalogue. And you can search by title, DOI, or any internal referencing system that you use. To add a new title, if you prefer to do this manually in the Thoth interface, you just press this little plus button in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can scroll to the top there and create a book, and you can start entering the metadata for your book. This is just the first screen. Um, if I open a book that's already had the metadata entered for it, you'll then get lots of different fields that you are able to edit and add information to. If I just jump back to the book catalogue, another way of adding your metadata to Tote is to upload the metadata. And this is a new feature that we've added. So rather than manually creating a record, you might want to upload a file into Tote so that metadata is automatically ingested. And a lot of our publishers have already done this with us, but it's been a more manual process. So publishers have sent us like CSV or Onyx files containing their backlists or front list titles going forward. And previously, we ingested those into the Tote database on behalf of publishers. The bulk uploader is now a self-service tool that allows publishers to do that. So you can obtain a CSV or an Onyx file, perhaps from your title management system, like Ubiquity or Consonance, or you may just work in a spreadsheet anyway to collect that metadata. So you can upload those files directly into the Tote database simply using the upload function, and it's just a select your file and add. Um, what that will do is our system will scan the data and it will map the data that's in the file to the Tote database model, and it will notify you if there's any errors there. So maybe if there's like a crucial piece of metadata missing, for example, like the title or the license or DOI, etc. Um, we have added here some examples. So these are templates that we encourage publishers to use, because if you use our CSV and Onyx template that's been specifically created for this bulk uploader, um, then it should match the tote data model, and it will probably give you less error messages and headaches back. Um, Also, like we're still happy to provide support in this. So if you do get an error message returned and you're not quite sure what to do with that error message, you can always email info@tote.pub and we'll be able to help you with the bulk upload of your metadata. If I just navigate back to the books menu, oops, I just need to close this. Navigate back to the books menu. I'm going to jump into an active record to show you how metadata editing for a book level record looks now. So one of the biggest changes that we've implemented, which publishers really wanted to see, was being able to edit all of the metadata for a book level record within that book record. So there's no more jumping out of a book record to add a contributor in the contributor section. Everything is editable within this book level record now, and I will demonstrate that shortly. We haven't removed any metadata, so it just looks nicer, but we have added new elements. So if I just scroll down, you see like all of the metadata that you're probably used to seeing when you log into Tote. Just how you edit fields has changed a little bit. So you can hover over any different metadata field, click the little pencil icon, and then that will open the editing pane. So one of the new things that we've added is the ability to edit any descriptive text, such as your title or the abstract, in rich text. So previously Tote didn't support that. It now allows for rich text, and if you also distribute your titles via Tote, then all those tags, etc., will be distributed to different platforms. So you can have your italics and your bold, etc., etc. You can also add translations of metadata. So we've added multilingual metadata. So if I wanted to add multilingual metadata for this book, I can add the metadata in multiple languages. So I've got the title and subtitle in English here, but you can add a new translation and you can add the title and subtitle in any language you wish. So you may want to add like the Dutch transcription for descriptive metadata. We have also built the Tote user manual into the interface itself. So this used to sit on our Tote wiki. It's now built into the user interface. So makes it really easy for getting a little bit of extra help with metadata. So if you're unsure, I mean, title's pretty self-explanatory, but if you were unsure of what metadata you're supposed to be entering into here, you can click this little I information symbol, and it will bring up the user manual page for that metadata element. So it'll tell you about the metadata element, what needs to go in there, some examples of the text, why the metadata is important, and then it will give you a little bit about the multilingual options as well. So that's a really handy little new feature that we've added there. When you're happy with the metadata that you've edited, you can just click the little yes tick or click no, and it won't save the changes. One thing that we have implemented as well, for any tote users that are using our distribution service, we set up a server area for those publishers on the tote server so that they can add their book related files directly to the tote server. So I'll explain a little bit about the packages, including the distribution packages later. But what you can now do as the publisher with space on the tote server is directly upload your cover images, your PDFs and your EPUBs, so you can upload them directly to a tote record. And again, like you would just click on this and select your file and upload. It's really straightforward. If I just scroll through here, if I just click on abstracts, again, you can see like the rich text formatting that you can use. And within the abstract, you can also use Markdown and JAX XML. We have also added subject code lists into the Tote database. So if you want to add standardized subject codes into your record, you can, for example, if I just scroll down, you can see this record has got BISAC, custom keywords, and thema codes added. You can add a new subject code. You can select for example, thema, and then you can start searching the subject code list. So I just search for art, and then you can find all the subject codes relating to the arts in thema format. These lists, when the new releases are released, like for example, thema is managed by editor, we will ingest those into the Tote database so that those subject code lists are up to date. I explained a little bit before about how all metadata is now editable within the book level record, and contributors is a really nice example of that. So now you can just manage the contributor here in this section. So you can add a contributor, you can search the Tote database, so you can see which contributors have already been entered into the database via that name. And it's worth noting that all publishers of Tote share the contributor database. And this is because contributors work across different publishers. We have integrated like the ORCID system so that you can further identify authors by adding their ORCID ID. If the author isn't already listed in Tote, or for example, this person does not have an ORCID ID associated with their record, so you may be unsure that that is the actual person that you want to add, you can create a new contributor. And this will just open a little field here where you can fill out like the full name, add the biography, which is also supported in multilingualism. You can add the ORCID ID, and you can add website URLs, and you can add any affiliated institutions. And if I just close that field there, you'll see where contributors have already been added here to this record, and you can see where ORCID IDs have been linked, and also raw IDs. And this is just a really nice example of linked data so that this person, for example, Hector Patmore, is definitely associated with KU Leuven, and this is the raw page for KU Leuven, so it links out. So when you add an institution into it adds an extra layer of being able to search the metadata associated with that institution. So Toby will be able to show you how that works with the usage metrics dashboard in a little bit. Similarly, the ORCID ID will link out to the contributor's ORCID profile. Just one really small thing that is like incredibly impactful because of the way we used to do it previously, but we used to have to manually order contributors and chapters, and we've just introduced a nice little drag and drop thing so you can just drag things around if they're not in the right order. Same goes for chapters. So you can add a new chapter to a work. So Tote supports like really rich chapter level metadata. So if I open a new chapter, it will give me the option to inherit metadata from the book level record because, of course, a lot of that metadata copies over to a chapter. And this will save you copying and pasting, for example, like the landing page or license or copyright holder, etc. Um, this record already has chapters added, so I can open one of these chapters and provide you with an example of how a chapter metadata record looks. So really similar to the book level. And to either edit the metadata, you just use the fields exactly the same as in the book level record, and then click yes, I'm done, or you can just close it and it'll take you back to the book record. Um, we've added a couple of features just to make the handling of chapters a bit easier. So if I select this little box, you can select all of the chapters. And using the little pencil icon, you can bulk edit chapters. So you can see here that I'm editing 15 of 15 chapters. And then there's metadata elements here that carry over all of the chapters. So if I want to change the license or the language or contributors, etc., it will change that metadata across all chapters. You can also copy chapters. So if I've created the introduction, and then actually I would like to copy that to create chapter one, you can use the little copy icon there, and obviously you get the option to delete as well. Publications. This was a section that often got missed by publishers because it was kind of tucked away. So hopefully we've made it a little bit more obvious how to manage the different publications of a title within this one little section. So you can add the details for example, your paperback, your hardback, your PDF. And if you open each one, it will then present you with the details that can be edited. So, for example, the paperback, you can add the ISBNs, the physical dimensions, prices in different currencies, and the location, so where this is available to purchase. For ebooks, you can also add, so you can add all of these details as well, but you can also add the file. So as I was explaining earlier about the cover image, if you are using the Tote hosted service for files, you can actually add the PDF straight to the book record, and it will be automatically hosted on the Tote CDN. So I will explain a little bit more about that service in a little while. This just makes it really easy for you to attach files to your book record. Also, you can add different location details. So you can add like where this PDF can be found. So you can see here that it's available on the publisher website, and here are the details for where that is. And it's also available on OAPEN, EBSCOhost, and the Internet Archive, and two other places. And that's because this book has been distributed via the Tote distribution service. And what we do after we have distributed a book to any of those platforms is once that book is live on those platforms, we then add that location into the metadata. So you can see that this book has been distributed to all of these places. Two new sections that we've added. We have added a marketing section, so you can add supplementary material, including award information, endorsements, book reviews, and any featured videos. So, for example, if I open the book review section, you can add metadata there about the review title, reviewer name. You can link up their ORCID ID or affiliated institutions. And the DOI for that work. So you can link out to different websites where things may be hosted there. And additionally, additional resources. If your book comes with resources that are available on external websites or on your own website, etc., you can add that information in here. So you might have like a video that's listed on a different website, some sort of multimedia file that you want readers to be able to access. So all of that information can be added there. Um, the rest of the metadata just further down the record is the same. So funding, you can add funding details. So you can add affiliated institutions there as well. And you can also add references to the book. So this one doesn't have any to show you, but you can build references in there as well. Um, So I think that's everything from me. I will pass over to Toby now, who's going to give you a demo of the user metrics dashboard.
Thanks so much, Hannah.
That's okay.
Um, so what I'll be doing, first I'm going to try to share my screen. Um, could you please just confirm if that's coming up on your end
It's not coming up yet.
now?
I don't have it, but that's okay. If everyone else can see it.
So this is just a quick glimpse really at like how the Toad Metrics dashboard looks. This has been launched yesterday as well with Toad 1.0, and the metrics, Toad Metrics service is also a new service that we have now introduced to the Toad portfolio. Hannah will be coming back to that in just a minute or two. But yeah, I just wanted to provide a quick rundown of how this is now structured. So this is basically the dashboard as it looks now. As you can see, there's a couple of different filters that we've consulted with publishers around, and that publishers really found useful to introduce. So first and foremost, here we can sort by different funders. So if you wanted to just display, say, titles that are funded by UKRI or the European Commission or any kind of funder that you have, you can just choose those. I will be just trying. No, I won't be trying that. So yeah, it's just a selection of funders really. Can also filter by different affiliations of your contributors. So if you just wanted to know like any books that are being published at the Institute of English Studies at the University of London. Okay, then we don't have any data. So I'll just revert to the standard view. But yeah, I think you get the gist. It's just different filters for languages, for work types. So if you wanted to see like just textbooks as compared to just edited collections, for example, you could do that. Measures is what we call the different platforms that books are submitted to and are available in the usage statistics database. So you can really sort through the different platforms that books have been disseminated by a certain publisher, and then also define start and end dates. So if you wanted to create a report of sorts where you cover like the full financial year of 2023, so you start on the 1st of January and set it to the end of December 2023, you could do that and just create a snapshot of the user statistics for that particular year. In the display, we have the overview of total usage of across the different platforms, so the different measures that we have available in the usage statistics service. This can include as many as these different platforms and more, but it doesn't necessarily have to. So if you start with the total usage statistics service, you will most likely have a bit more limited selection of platforms. most notably the OAPN ones, because we have already integrated those with the Opera's metrics service, which is the underlying database that we are using to feed that visualization dashboard. Google Books is also already available through Opera's metrics as a measure. So any publisher that's sending their books to Google Books will also likely have statistics that we can directly pull into through the Opera's metrics service. And then we also are able to directly integrate usage data from Toad hosted files. So if you've been using Toad for a while to disseminate your data, your content to different platforms, the Toad filed the Toad files will also be available in that dashboard here, the usage statistics for those. I've been mentioning Opera's metrics for a couple of times now, so just to highlight that this is really the underlying database that we are using to support the Toad usage statistics provision. Opera's metrics is a core service offered by the European Opera's network. And this is really like an open source database where different platforms and publishers are submitting data to. And so from that database, the usage statistics data can be directly collated and be then provided to any kind of other service that, such as the Toad Open Usage Statistics service. And so if you wanted to learn more about Opera's metrics, I encourage you to look through their specifics here and on the website. And so this is really just a quick look at the dashboard itself. We've had the total usage overall. We also have other measures such as usage over time, which provides a nice graph across the different years. Then usage by continent and usage by country. And what you can also do with the dashboard is create a PDF version of this report that you're generating. So you can apply different sorts of filters and then send that onto the PDF generation module and create a PDF out of that. This currently isn't displaying in the browser here, so I won't go through the hassle of switching over to the different screens, but I think you get where this is going to. And next to the Toad Metrics dashboard, we are also providing, so the usage statistics dashboard basically is statistics on the publisher level. So across all the books that a publisher has been publishing over the years. Powered by Opera's metrics, we are also able to provide details on the title level statistics, and this is being done through a book usage widget, which we have, which open book publishers have developed in the context of the Hermeos project that was basically the predecessor to the Opera's metrics service as it is now. And open book publishers are using that metric in their website, that widget in their website, but it's really, as it says on the tin, it's a widget, so it's an HTML snippet that you can integrate in any kind of website if you wanted to. And so here we have like a sample page, a title page of one of the titles published by open book publishers, and they've integrated that widget directly within that title page to display the usage of that title over time with the different measures available through Opera's metrics. Since I mentioned open book publishers here, it also goes to say that open book publishers are very much like building or have built their whole website around Toad technology. So everything you see here can be provided by another service that Hannah will be talking about in just a minute, which is the Toad website and catalog hosting service. And with that, I hand over back to you, Hannah.
Thank you. Yeah, so just to explain the way we have rebranded our services for publishers. So previously we used to have Tote Free, which was like our core service for publishers, which is the metadata management platform itself, and then the ability to export metadata into multiple open formats. Um, that has now been rebranded as Oasis. And then we had Thoth Plus as well, which was like our additional services that publishers could pay a fee for that included distribution. So nothing has changed in that respect. We've just renamed these two different services. So Oasis is the free self-service platform for publishers to use. So publishers can continue to use the metadata management function, and then they can export any of that metadata that's in the Tote database into, for example, Onyx, JSON, Mark, KBAR, or Crossref DOI deposits. The distribution service that was Tote Plus, um, that is now rebranded as Obelisk. So we previously had our Toth Plus distribution service split into packages A and B. And because the take up of package A, which was like sort of a very basic distribution package, we didn't have much uptake with that. Publishers tended to go for the comprehensive distribution package. We have now just joined them together. So the Obelisk package contains everything in the previous Oasis package, so publishers can still use the metadata management and export function. We have included Crossref membership. So under the Obelisk package, publishers are not required to pay any additional Crossref membership fees, which are usually charged on an annual basis by Crossref. Um, we automatically deposit your DOIs. So any DOI that is added to a tote record, Tote's automated workflows will pick up that DOI and it will register the DOI with Crossref for you. And then any subsequent metadata updates made within a tote record will be automatically sent on to Crossref. So no more having to submit Crossref XML files or manually doing this yourself. Um, we will also automatically distribute your ebooks to a number of ebook aggregators, a number of metadata indexes in the global book supply chain, and a number of archiving repositories as well. So this Obelisk package contains all of the platforms that we are currently able to distribute your ebooks to. So from Awapen, DOAB, JSTOR, Project Muse, EBSCO, ProQuest, Web of Science, etc., etc. Um, so you can opt into all of the platforms, or you can simply select which platforms you want your books to go to. You don't have to opt into them all if you want, but the price for the package will remain the same. And what we will be doing as well over time, like our publishers will have seen this happening anyway. When we establish new connections with new platforms, we will simply add those into the package at no extra fee to the publisher. So the Obelisk platform list will continue to grow, and you'll be given the opportunity to opt into any additional platforms that we can distribute content to. Um, we're also always open to suggestions as well. So if you have platforms that you would like your metadata and books distributing to, please do let us know and we can definitely investigate forming connections with those platforms. Like I said earlier as well, publishers that distribute via Thoth, we set them up with file hosting on our super fast content distribution network. And all this does is it takes a copy, well, there's two different routes. It either takes a copy of a file that you currently have hosted on your own website or elsewhere, makes a copy on the Tote distribution network so that our automated distribution workflows can pick that file up really easily, and it just makes that distribution workflow really quick and smooth and straightforward. It's also really helpful for publishers that currently do not host their files anywhere. So, for example, a few of our smaller publishers rely on submitting the ebook to a different platform, for example, OAPN, and that is their only hosted copy of their ebook. So this gives publishers the opportunity to host their files on the Tote network. It's contained within this package, so there's no additional fee for that. And we will also host those files under your own domain name. So essentially, we'll provide you with the links to those files, and it will be under the domain name of your choice. So it will look like those files are hosted under your own website domain. Um, the next package is Sphinx. So each of these packages is built onto the other. So Sphinx contains everything that is in Obelisk. So it's full use of tote, distribution, and then also access to usage metrics for that distribution as well. So a publisher gets access to their usage metrics dashboard, like Toby just shared, and they also get use of those metrics at book level by using the widget, which can be embedded in your landing pages on your website for the books or within your catalogue, wherever you want that to go. And then Pyramid is our comprehensive package. So that contains all of our services. So in addition to that, we also provide publishers with website and catalog hosting. So as Toby demonstrated, Open Book Publishers, if you want to have a look, is a really nice example of a publisher that's using our template for their website and catalog. It's fully customizable, so we can work with you to make it look exactly as you wish. You'll be able to edit any of the text yourself going forward, etc. Um, and if you choose to use the catalog option, it means that it will draw the data directly from Thoth. So you can have like a fully working catalog that is just pulling all of that metadata from Thoth. I'll just actually jump into a screen to show you. So for example, here's like open book publishers have customized the website to make it look like theirs. And then if I jump into the catalog and search for all books, they haven't had to create individual web pages for their books because all of this data is drawn from the Tote database. So you can see we've got this really nice working catalog with lots of different filters. If I jump into a book level record there, all of this data is pulled directly from Tote. So you've got like all of the metadata listed there, all of the descriptive metadata, you've got all of the chapter level metadata there, you've got contributors, and like Toby demonstrated, they've also added the usage metric widget for this book as well. And anytime you update metadata in Tote, that will be automatically pulled through to the catalogue. So it's a really nice new service that we're offering for publishers. If I just jump back to my slides, we have also changed the pricing schedule in accordance with the rebrand of the packages for services. So previously, our fees were based on per title. And just to make this easier to manage for publishers and for Tote, obviously, as well, we'll be moving away from the per title fee to an annual subscription fee for publishers. So you can easily see on this schedule how much it will cost you per year to opt into any of these packages. Um, Here you can see that the Oasis package is free. So that has always been free for publishers to use, and it will remain free indefinitely for publishers to use. That is our core service that we originally created for publishers to have access to, like an open source community piece of software. that you can use for free to manage your metadata. Um, the additional packages, Obelisk, Sphinx, and Pyramids, there's really transparent prices here. And how we price a publisher per year is we put them into categories based on size. So you can see the categories here ranging from 1 to 4. And the size is determined by the number of titles published overall by a publisher in a year. So that includes closed titles as well to gauge how big the publisher is. So you can see categories 1 to 5. Category 1 is covers our very small publishers, so publishers that may only publish 1 to 4 titles a year, ranging right up to category 5, which is like 50 plus titles a year. Um, so really here you can see the prices. Like we had consultations with our publishers who currently use the distribution service and the per title invoicing. And we talked to them about how they find these prices, and there's no significant price increase. Most of our publishers find these prices very competitive. And it's worth noting that each of the platforms, for example, with the Obelisk package, if a publisher was to go it alone outside of Toe and they would be signing up to multiple platforms, each of those platforms charges an annual membership fee, and then there's per title fees associated with many platforms as well. So our price package includes all of those subscription fees and per title hosting fees, plus a saving as well. Um, Yep, the you can see like the increase in prices here. So there's not an incredible jump from one package to the other as well. So you can see like the sort of modest increase of if you were to add an additional service like the usage metrics on top as well. And what we have learned from our publishers is that distribution and usage metrics is like such a time consuming admin heavy process for publishers to go through, and it involves dealing with lots of setting up distribution channels with different platforms, signing up to different memberships. With regards to usage data, it's lots of collating data from different platforms in different usage measures and then trying to put that together into a report yourself. So the main aim of our additional packages here is to minimize the administrative burden for publishers, and just to take the legwork out of distribution and metrics for publishers. And we've received really positive feedback as well from the publishers that already work with us and are opted into the distribution service, which is now called Obelisk. And we really hope that those publishers will be really interested in our new products as well under the Sphinx and Pyramid packages. Um, so I think that's all from me. One other thing I was just going to show you, the pricing is actually available on our website now. So what you can do is you can select the size of your publisher. So I publish 5 to 14 titles per year. You can select your currency, and then if you scroll down, you can see our different packages laid out next to each other and how much that will cost you. There's no like hidden costs around this. Like this is the fee that you would be charged annually. I'll stop sharing. I don't know if there's anything that anyone else wants to add that in case I've forgotten.
Thanks so much, Hannah. That's been brilliant.
No
I'll just
worries.
stop the recording. And then if Verona has any questions, I think we can address those.